Hello, my friends. I have two things to air out. And the first is that I struggle to visually bring a YouTube video to life. And the second is that I, at this point in time, have been an alumni from the University of Tennessee for 1 year now. And I still live with my parents, forcing me to simmer in looming expectations, brittle confidence, and wavering willpower. Grievances that I need to air out. The criteria for this video will center around my rationale, focusing on these three subjects: confidence, expectations, and willpower, while showcasing my adventures through 5 unique locations in my home city of Memphis, Tennessee, filming an array of shots to challenge my color grading skills. These 5 locations will include Overton Park, the Brooks Art Museum, Sunshine Studios, the Peabody Hotel, and the Murals of Memphis. We'll see how far I can get on my own and how far I can get with today's sponsor, Dehancer. Dehancer is a film emulation plugin allowing creatives to achieve an authentic analog film aesthetic on digital products. It can be found on major desktop creative applications along with an iOS version for mobile use. It says here that they offer advanced color, grain, bloom, and halation features. Very interesting. My expectations are peaked. If you want a 10% discount on your own subscription to Dehancer, you can use my code in the description, Sharper Look, and you can get this discount, no strings attached. We will see how Dehancer stacks up against my own color grading skills. It will surely be a battle of the ages, but stay tuned to figure out. And without further ado, let the video begin. To set the stage, I graduated from my college in May of 2025 and moved back home for the recovery of a impending surgery yet to be fulfilled. I have a bachelor's degree in advertising and am interested in video editing. Currently, I am working to build a career as a sound designer and have a dream of owning a successful clothing brand. My chief struggle right now, I would say, is living my truest life. It's not a struggle that is inherently complex, but I definitely make it that way. For better or for worse, I can't help it. I find interest in solving problems and discovering the sources behind my own mental struggles. Of these struggles, most common of which are expectations, confidence, and willpower, which are at the forefront of my anxiety and stress. Expectations primarily because they have the most inputs. And what I mean by that is, chiefly, I have expectations looming from myself, because realizing my aspirations often transforms into an overwhelming monsoon of tasks I have to complete. The ironic thing is that you'd think chasing your dreams would be a great incentive, and it is, but in doing so, you become responsible for the management, accountability, and planning of yourself. Not an easy feat. The likelihood that anyone is a natural at all of these aspects is 1 in a million, and I'll tell you for sure it's not me. And then there's also my family and friends. Thankfully for me, this is a very warm and uplifting place for me. I am so blessed that my validation is not tied to what I do, but who I am. That's not to say it's not without its pressures, of course, but regardless of what's going on around me, I understand that I am a complete and powerful person, which I think is a foundational aspect in achieving emotional intelligence, which is the strongest weapon we can use to maintain our resilience towards stress and these other negative emotions. And of course, the creme de la creme, comparison. I wish it weren't so, but I cannot help but compare myself and my development to others. And it really puts a lot of pressure on me to be better, which could be seen as a good thing. Iron sharpens iron. But I would say this is the most dangerous part of all expectations because it practically sucks the fun out of everything. And this is where a very beneficial quote comes in for me. Everything has already been done, but not by me. That is by Octavie Walters. Great little quote. I found this quote from a Brie Leah video. Shout out to her because having this quote is so foundational in maintaining my confidence, because obviously confidence is uniquely fleeting. What I mean is that I often will lose every last drop of my confidence in a matter of hours. A single mistake can make me feel like I've never even had it to begin with. It's so silly, I know, but whenever I give something my all and it doesn't work out, it can really send me back to square one. Failing is ugly and scary, but in these times of struggle, I found my greatest support. Quotes. I would be in a psych ward by now if I did not have the words of others to aid me. Anger is the wind that blows out the light of the mind. Do not focus your anger on others, but on problems. Thinking things isn't doing things. Whatever it takes to build experience. Confidence should chiefly come from objective support rather than emotional. I have a friend one time who told me that he was planning on taking shots before he went to class so that he could have the courage to talk to this girl he liked. Now, this had me dead, but it reveals the brittle nature of emotional confidence. I feel confidence through my experiences, and that's something that can never be taken away from me. Wisdom is king for self-improvement. You can find an infinite number of answers hidden in your past and in the past of others, and chief among which is that I have poor willpower. I know this is something I have to cultivate. It's tricky in that having a plan and incentives isn't always enough to ensure action. I've read before that willpower acts as a muscle. It fatigues and therefore must be strengthened over time, which can be very difficult given your situation. This is dangerous for me because I live at home. Because when you live at home with your parents, a ton of responsibilities are taken off your back. You move in a way that is almost lethargic because you may know how much rent, food, and insurance costs, but if that's not your responsibility to pay, that financial pressure doesn't reach you. This definitely fosters an indolent lifestyle in me for sure. Because if you take a day off, nothing's gonna change. And you can believe there will be plenty of reasons to do so when faced with any amount of adversity. Quotes again here are invaluable for me. The heaviest weights you will ever lift are in the seconds between who you are and who you want to become. Diligence overcomes difficulties. Sloth makes them. There's a difference between action and planning. The hard truth is that you need both, but it's up to you to find the right balance for your own endeavors. We are most vulnerable when faced with a crossroad. With a clear plan, we can eliminate this interaction and glide along our chosen path, avoiding distractions and gaining so much productivity. It's exhilarating. You'd be mistaken if you thought that this was easy. I've been figuring it out for over 6 months and still struggle to write objectives in a way that is most optimal for even me. Value, clarity, simplicity, and accountability. I am by no means a master, but I find joy in figuring this kind of situation out. I have so much room to grow, and it's exciting because all I have to do is try. Our reality is a construct formed by our experiences and cultures. Know that your hands are on the wheel. So as we encounter unexpected futures, harsh decisions, and alluring distractions, we must ensure that we follow our hearts and challenge ourselves, because our potential is limitless. I'm thankful that I took the time to discover my most dominant trait of being interested in learning, and that if I didn't take the time to really find that out, who knows where I would be headed now. To give my review on Dehancer after completing this video, I would say that the learning curve is definitely a factor of play. I had to watch a couple videos to understand what was really going on. The layout of Dehancer is a little bit confusing with it not following a standard node tree format. However, the freedom you have to control different parts of the video is very remarkable, and I found it to be honestly giving me more freedom than a normal node tree would offer. I think it may just be more beginner friendly than learning the node trees, which is very interesting because I know it's also a plugin for the elites of color grading. So that's pretty cool that it covers both bases. Again, if you would like a 10% discount on your own Dehancer subscription to achieve your own authentic film look, use my code SHARPERLOOK in the description below. I cannot wait to see what you create. And of course, as always, you have my best. Ciao.